The film begins with a man named Viktor, who suddenly wakes from his sleep, looking disoriented as he scans the room around him. He notices a photo of himself with a woman and begins to realize that the objects in the room are strangely disintegrating, only to regenerate mysteriously moments later. Trying to leave the room, Viktor is startled by a man who appears to be missing part of his body. As he continues wandering, he's even more bewildered by his surroundings, a world where gravity seems distorted and buildings float in unnatural positions. Iconic landmarks like Big Ben, the Capitol, and the Burj Khalifa all appear bizarrely connected. While staring at one of the nearby structures, Viktor begins to imagine what it should look like. Suddenly, the building starts to restore itself, returning to its original form. But before he can process what's happening, Viktor spots a strange creature approaching. Realizing it's heading toward him with hostile intent, he prepares for danger. Just in time, he's saved by two men and a woman. These creatures, known as Reapers, are relentless. The group runs as the Reaper chases them through an abyss filled with shifting gravity. They escape, passing through a version of China created from a coma patient's memories and continue straight into a warped version of Venice. But the creature catches up and is shot by one of the group members, though it's not enough to kill it. Cornered, the group takes cover. With no other choice, one of them sacrifices himself, detonating an explosion that takes the Reaper down with him. Afterward, Viktor speaks to the woman who helped him. She explains that he's inside a coma world, a realm where people exist when they're in a coma in the real world. The places and buildings are formed from coma patients' memories. Her name is Fly, and she possesses a unique healing ability. As their journey continues, the group boards a strange bus. To Viktor's surprise, the front and back doors of the bus each lead to different dimensions. When they arrive at the base, a woman questions them about the pilot who had sacrificed himself. A brief argument breaks out over his death, but the group's leader, Yen, quickly restores order. Viktor also learns that the man who helped him earlier is named Phantom. Fly reveals that the reason they saved Viktor is because they strongly believe he will lead them to an island, one safe from the Reaper attacks. That night, Viktor sleeps in a room prepared for him and dreams of sketches, billboards, hallways, buildings, and the accident that put him into a coma. When he wakes up, he's shocked to find that everything he saw in his dream has manifested in his room. Phantom arrives and warns him not to venture further. If he gets lost, there might be no way back. In Coma World, people often forget who they were in real life, but many retain special abilities linked to their real-world skills. The next day, Viktor is tested to determine what power he might have. Each group member has a unique ability. Fly can heal wounds. Spirit senses Reapers and can summon spirits. To awaken Viktor's latent abilities, they put him in a dangerous situation. His first test, to catch a fired cannonball. But despite several attempts, he's unable to manifest any powers. Next, he faces off against a giant mechanical robot built by the gnomes. The machine knocks Viktor down repeatedly. As he defends himself, faint glowing lines briefly appear on his body, then vanish. Phantom asks about Viktor's profession in the real world, and he replies that he's an architect. From that point on, they begin calling him the Architect, though no one knows what abilities he might have. Later that night, Viktor has the same dream, but with new details, this time revealing it takes place in a hospital. The next day, Yen explains that time flows differently in the coma world. One day in the real world equals several months in this realm. Yen claims he has been here for 15 years and says some people survive for even longer, possibly thousands of years. Soon, the group is assigned a mission to retrieve explosives from a submarine that exists in the memories of a man named Cable. While heading to the location, Astronomer explains that their dream space stores vast amounts of information from the real world. During the discussion, Spirit senses Reapers nearby. Astronomer assures them the Reapers are still at least 2 days' journey away. Reapers, they explain, are born from people who have suffered brain death. These creatures can sense humans through signals they emit. Gnome mentions he created a special whistle device that lures Reapers, so someone can use it to draw them away, or even sacrifice themselves. Eventually, they reach the submarine port, guarded by soldiers from Cable's memory. While Astronomer devises a plan, Phantom loses patience and attacks, triggering an explosion that alerts all the guards. A firefight breaks out, and Spirit uses her powers to help Astronomer finish off the enemies. After the battle, Astronomer scolds Phantom for acting recklessly and risking a Reaper attack. But Phantom arrogantly defends himself, claiming leadership gives him that right. They finally reach the submarine and prepare to retrieve the torpedo. It's incredibly dangerous. If it falls, it could cause a massive explosion. 4 of them hold the chains while Cable detaches it from the ship. Just as they're working, Spirit senses nearby Reapers. The torpedo isn't ready yet, but time is running out. Phantom tells the others to hold off the Reapers, while Cable, Gnome, and Viktor stay to finish the job. The chains are too heavy, so Viktor asks for help. Fly and Astronomer return just in time. Frustrated, Phantom fires at the chain, snapping it. Cable and the torpedo fall, but in a moment of clarity, Viktor finally manifests his power. He creates a ramp out of thin air, saving both Cable and the weapon from crashing. Recognizing Viktor's ability, Yen suggests that instead of relying on places built from memories, Viktor, the architect, could create a brand new island, one that Reapers can't track. Yen announces the group will leave their base the next morning. He also removes Phantom from his leadership role, appointing Astronomer instead. Enraged, Phantom threatens to expose Yan's secrets to the others. Later that night, while everyone sleeps, Viktor tries again to manifest something, but fails. Fly finds him and realizes he hasn't yet learned to control his powers. She scolds him for telling Yen he could build the island. But then she remembers Viktor was able to sketch while moving his hand. Encouraged, Viktor starts visualizing a 3D layout until a spiral-shaped building model finally appears. Fly inspects it and asks to see Viktor's memories. In his room, she notices the image of an overturned car and deduces that Viktor was in an accident. He confirms that before falling into a coma, he was driving to meet a client, but it turned out to be a trap. Fly shares that she has only a few memories of her past, and one of them is the pain of being unable to be with someone she loves. She gently leans in and kisses Viktor, saying that being in the coma has made that moment possible. The next day, everyone prepares to leave for the island. As Astronomer explains the route, Phantom secretly steals a whistle from Gnome's bag. Midway through their journey, Spirit senses the presence of Reapers. Unknown to the group, Phantom has activated a signal through the whistle, allowing the Reapers to detect them. As danger grows, the team splits up. Astronomer instructs Viktor to climb the hill to find an alternate path, but Phantom deliberately follows him, drawing the Reaper toward Viktor using the signal. Just as the creature is about to attack, a man named Tank shoots the Reaper, saving Viktor. Seizing the moment, Phantom secretly slips the whistle into Viktor's jacket, trying to frame him. But the team quickly uncovers his deception. Phantom then begins to realize the truth behind their world, right as his body starts transforming into a Reaper. He tries to speak, but before he can reveal anything, Yen shoots him. Despite the wound, Phantom manages to flee. As more people become infected, the number of Reapers grows. Those without powers begin to die. Realizing his body is deteriorating, Phantom blows the whistle to attract a Reaper, but the creature ignores him. While the others continue their struggle to survive, a blinding light appears, and Viktor finally wakes from his coma. He begins to remember everything, how he ended up here, and what led to his condition. In his memories, he recalls a trip with his girlfriend, who, surprisingly, turns out to be Fly. They were on their way to a secretive sex headquarters, invited by a client of Viktor's. Already suspicious, Fly warns Viktor that the sect might use his architectural designs for something sinister. She even hands him a taser, just in case. Viktor enters the building, passing through rooms he had previously seen in his dreams. There, he meets Yen, revealed in the real world as a scientist developing a project related to coma consciousness. Yen explains that he invited Viktor to help build a sanctuary within the coma world, a safe haven from the Reapers. Yen claims to have discovered a rare brain condition in coma patients that grants access to an alternate realm. Knowing Viktor's skills as an architect, he wants him to design a new world. But Viktor refuses. Yen's men drug him to force compliance, but Viktor uses the taser Fly gave him to escape. During their getaway, Fly, distracted while driving, collides with a truck. Both she and Viktor are seriously injured. Yen's men recover their unconscious bodies and bring them to a hospital for treatment. When Viktor awakens again, Yen tells him the full truth. The religious sect was just a front to raise funds for their real project, building a shared coma world. Yen insists that without Viktor's help, the project cannot succeed. Reapers, he says, are the greatest threat to this world. Everyone currently involved had been intentionally placed into comas to join the experiment. Surprisingly, Phantom had already regained his real-world memories, but chose to stay in the coma to escape life's harsh realities. Despite Viktor's refusal to participate, Yen pressures him, warning that if Fly is harmed by a Reaper, her brain will die. With no other choice, Viktor agrees to complete the construction in order to save her. Viktor wakes again, this time in his apartment. Meanwhile, back in the coma world, Fly and the others begin to lose hope as Reapers prepare to attack. Suddenly, Viktor returns, now fully in control of his powers, and leads them to the island, where he begins work on Yan's project. Using his abilities, Viktor transforms the empty land into a stunning futuristic sanctuary. Just as they prepare to enter, Yen reveals deeply personal truths about each of them. Spirit, he says, came from a mental institution plagued by hallucinations and seizures. She had lost her only child and had no family. Tank was tormented by guilt after losing his family in a car accident caused by his drunkenness. Astronomer is autistic, raised by aging parents. Victor himself had designed visionary buildings, but they were rejected for being too unrealistic. He and Fly had argued about this before, an emotional fight that caused their separation. Yan's ultimate plan becomes clear. The entire construction was meant for himself alone. He would live there forever in the coma world, while the rest were to be excluded. Suddenly, Tank's body begins to fade. It's revealed that in the real world, Yan's men have cut off their oxygen. The group tries to resist, but it's hopeless. Astronomer then tells them, to wake up, they must find their real bodies inside the dream. They return to headquarters and enter Victor's dream space. Inside the dream hospital, they search room by room for their physical bodies. However, the environment has shifted. All the memories of coma patients are now interconnected, making it difficult to navigate. Victor must recall specific details from his own room to guide them. As he begins remembering, they find their way toward it, but Astronomer starts to fade. Yan appears, blocking Fly and Victor from reaching the room. But then, unexpectedly, Phantom, now fully transformed into a Reaper, arrives and attacks Yan, melting him into nothing. Moments later, Victor finally awakens. He looks over and sees Fly, still unconscious. Desperate, he shakes her gently until she too begins to wake. They escape the facility just as Yan's men arrive, only to discover that Yan is already dead. Before the film ends, it's revealed that no legal charges are filed against the sect due to a lack of evidence. Victor resumes his life, now working on more practical architectural designs to appeal to clients. And this time, Fly stands by his side, fully supportive of his efforts. And with that, the film ends. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.